It was late at night when Mark found himself lost. His GPS had died, and his phone had no signal. The winding country road stretched endlessly into the darkness, with no signs of life around. Desperate to find his way, he noticed a narrow, unmarked dirt road cutting through the dense trees. Against his better judgment, he decided to take it, hoping it would lead him back to the highway. As Mark drove down the bumpy path, a thick fog rolled in, blanketing everything in an eerie mist. The road seemed to go on forever, and he felt an unsettling chill in the air. He checked the time. It was 1:13 a.m. His car's headlights barely cut through the fog, but up ahead, he saw a dim light flickering in the distance. Relief washed over him as he thought it might be a house or gas station. When he reached the light, however, he realized it wasn't what he expected. There, in the middle of the road, was an old-fashioned lantern hanging from a tree branch. It swung slowly back and forth. Mark slowed the car, staring at the lantern, unsure of what to do. There was no house, no gas station, just this strange light swaying in the night. His nerves began to fray. Why would anyone leave a lantern here? He decided to keep driving, but as he pressed the gas, something moved in his rearview mirror. A figure stood at the edge of the fog, barely visible in the faint light. Mark's heart skipped a beat. The figure was tall, thin, and shrouded in what looked like tattered robes. He couldn't see its face, but it was watching him. His hands shook as he gripped the steering wheel tighter and accelerated. The dirt road became more uneven, and the trees seemed to close in on him. He kept glancing in the mirror, hoping the figure would disappear. But it didn't. It was still there, following him. Its dark silhouette growing closer with each passing second. Panicking, Mark sped up, but the figure was relentless, now almost gliding over the ground toward his car. The road narrowed, and branches scraped against the sides of his vehicle. Suddenly, his car jerked to a stop. The engine sputtered and died. Mark frantically tried to restart it, but the car wouldn't budge. The figure was now only a few feet away. He locked the doors, breathing heavily, praying it would go away. Silence filled the air. The figure had stopped moving. Mark glanced out of his side window. There, just inches from the glass, was the figure. Its head slowly tilted to the side, as if studying him. The lantern's dim light reflected off the glass, giving him a glimpse of its face, or rather, the absence of one. It had no eyes, no mouth, just a smooth, pale surface where a face should have been. Suddenly, a loud knock echoed through the car. Mark jumped, staring at the figure. It hadn't moved, but the knock came again, this time louder. Then it began to speak. A low, raspy voice whispered from all around him. Though the figure itself remained motionless. "Get out of the car." Mark's heart raced, but he didn't move. He couldn't move. The door handle rattled on its own, as if someone was trying to open it from the outside.
"Get out."
The voice grew more insistent, more threatening. Terrified, Mark fumbled with his phone, desperately trying to get a signal, but there was nothing, no bars, no service.
He was trapped.